Last up in this Just In for this week, Colin, this is something you sent over. This was your guy, Jay Bilas, talking to Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy about college athletics. So we can put the clip in here.
You know, when I was a player a million years ago, my coach, Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, probably made about $50,000 a year. He's making 8, 9, 10 million now and deserves every penny in my view. But we've seen major change in revenue generation, in salaries and facility spending, in private plane travel for games, in the way the media rights deals, and nobody complained and said, well, this isn't college sports anymore, or this wasn't what it's all about, or nobody said pump the brakes. But now that the athletes are going to get more than a scholarship, now we got to pump the brakes. Doomsday is around the corner, and I just don't believe it. I don't think fans will turn away from it. I don't think we're going to see any change in the popularity of the sport. I feel like it's all phony doomsday rhetoric that they've used for decades upon decades to try to get in action. I don't understand it, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on that.
No, Jay, I 100% agree with you. College athletics in some ways is more professional than professional athletics. The crowds are often bigger at some of the big football programs. The TV revenues are often bigger. The profits sometimes are larger than in the pros. The only difference from a practical standpoint between sort of the look and feel of the pro leagues and the look and feel of Power 5 football, for instance, is simply the fact that in college, the adults get all the money and the players get none, save for that scholarship. I agree with you. I think college athletics is so deeply ingrained into the ethic of America that no self-respecting college sports fan is going to pack up and walk away just because the kids get some money so that their parents can come watch them in the NCAA tournament. And if that's the reason why you're going to walk away because the kids are being treated a little bit more fairly, then you know what, you weren't a particularly genuine sports fan to begin with.
So the discussion was, and at least the highlighted discussion was, are college athletes more of professionals than professional athletes? Obviously, I've been both. It's a great discussion. Initially, my thoughts were, in a way, I think you're equal, because if you want to talk about time given, they're giving as much time as pros, if not more. Their season ends in December. They're back in there with school in January. I'm talking about college football players. They're back in there in January, grinding, absolutely grinding. The hardest part of the offseason, January, February, March. Then they go spring ball, 15-day practice, 15 practices over 6 weeks or so, or whatever that may be, 4 weeks, then a spring game. Then you have like a week or so off, or maybe, and then you're back for the hardest part of summer conditioning and training. Then you have like a week off, and then you're back in August, and then you're just going right through again. You got to be there for recruiting visits. You got to take recruits out on different visits throughout the city or the town you're playing in, host. So there's just a lot of responsibilities on you. Plus you're going to school. Plus you're encouraged to get your master's. Plus you're encouraged to have a 3.0 GPA. Plus you're encouraged to do community service, right? So, and then have a social life, and then again, have study hall. So, and you're not making any money. Again, your schooling's free, and the opportunities that you get being a student athlete in college are tremendous. You cannot put a value on them if you take advantage of them. Do I believe that players should get a little more money in their pocket? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the name, image, likeness stuff, we will debate that more, but it was an interesting headline. Now, Jay didn't talk about it too much. It was the senator that brought it up. But to Jay's point, he brings up a ton of really good ones. Jay Bilas is a fantastic follow on Twitter. Check out what he's doing. But when Jay was getting to is people weren't complaining when, the team started taking private jets and all these pockets were getting lined, right? When Coach Krzyzewski started, $50,000 a year. We all heard the clip, $50,000 a year. These coaches now make so much money. Even the low-level D1 AA coaches are making a ton of money, rightfully so, because you're putting butts in the seats. You're bringing it's free advertising for the school. It's not free. Nothing's free, but it's advertising for the school. If you're on TV, if you have success, if you make a Sweet 16, if you make it just to the tournament and you're Lehigh, you're watching Lehigh play Gonzaga, it's got millions and millions and millions of views. How many people are going to Google Lehigh when they play Gonzaga? So it's interesting. It's a great debate. Yes, athletes should be paid and compensated. I don't know how much or why or how, but I think they're just as much as pros as we are. Any thoughts, Justin?
No, I mean, I think you summed it up great. It's an interesting conversation to have, especially now as, we're slowly inching towards the possibility of some of these athletes getting paid for, name, image, likeness. I think is probably coming first. And
I think too, they're in a way, Justin, sorry, they're pros because they're getting paid from their, they're getting paid from their scholarship. They're getting paid from some per diem money. They're getting paid through meals. So they're professionals, because if you're not performing, they're 1-year scholarships, folks. So they could be axed at any minute. So you're performing and you could be cut just like we could. It's a little less ruthless and cutthroat in college sports, but at the end of the day, it's about the same. So